This is a quick overview of how to manage your forms for your cases. So if you go to your dashboard, you have Manage Forms. And we're just going to create a new form here and create new forms. It's open by default. So just want to give your form a title just so you know what it is that you're looking for when you want to attach them to your case later on. So this form we're just going to call passport information. And we just want to gather some information on the client that we're going to need later on for filling out the passport documentation. You can type in a description here if that helps your team at all. And so then there is this auto attach. And so auto attach will mean that anytime, so if you choose all cases or all clients, then anytime a new client is created, it will auto attach this form to the client. You can also choose add to existing clients, which will go back and add this form once you save it to all previous clients that already exist in the system, in addition to adding them as you add new clients. So same thing is going to happen for all cases. So you can attach this form to a case when you create it automatically. Also choose add to existing cases, so it'll go back and add it to all previous cases if you want to do that. And then you can also just add it to a specific case type, so perhaps passport information. So I have some silly case types here in my testing, but let's say only case types of hello require the passport information. You can add this information to only specific case types. You can also clear auto attach, so if you don't ever want to auto attach this form to anything and you always want to manually attach it, you can just leave none of these checked, and that will work just fine. So for this, so we're not going to auto attach here, just so I can show you how to add those manually later on. So for now, so a future release, we'll kind of make this more of a GUI interface, kind of more drag and drop. But for this release, this is how it will work. So your row title, so kind of think of your row title as as the question or that you're trying to get from the user. So a row title might be something like, what is your name? What is your first name? And then you can have additional information here. Please enter your biological name, not nickname. And then you can determine whether, when someone is filling out this form, whether this field is required or not. You'll have this little icon that pops up showing you that the field is required. And then you need to determine a response type. How does the user actually respond to this question? So your choices are a single line of text, so which is going to be suitable for this case because they just want to type in their first name. You can have a multi-line text input. So this is going to be, maybe you have a tell me about yourself, and where they might want to just be typing in a bunch of information. So that would be a multi-line text input. And then you have a single choice selection. So that might be something like a yes or no scenario, where they can only, so they're presented with multiple choices, but they can only choose one of those. And then you have multi-selection choice. So that's the same thing. They're presented with multiple options, but they can choose multiple answers for that. And then there's also the other single selection, which is going to be a drop-down box. Sometimes that's going to be more suitable. So like if you're asking them, what state do you live in? That's, drop-down is going to be more suitable than, having, a bunch of radio buttons for them to choose. So we're going to just do single line. So then the default value is, there may be some cases where you require like a default, like most every user answers yes to a question, so you can default that to some certain answer. So that's it for this one. So then we'll add another row, and we'll do tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself, and please be This is required, and we're going to do a multi-line text input for that. And not a native. So this is going to be our default value, and that's rendered out. So we'll add another row, and maybe we'll ask them what their gender is. What is your gender? This is required. We're going to do a single choice selection. So now we need to add what options they're going to have. So we add an option here. We'll do male. So the title is what the user is actually going to see. But in the back end, say when it's filling out the PDFs, your PDF might require an M, or it might require all lowercase male. So the option title is what the user sees, but the option value is what is actually filled in on the PDF, or the value that is used. And then most all the time, the option value is going to be a type of text. But there may be some scenarios where a PDF requires that the value that's rendered here, so let's say this was a 1, and the PDF requires that this is actually handled as a number, not a string, or text, so you can do that. Or same thing with maybe checkboxes. Sometimes those are actually true or false, and required to be so on your PDF. So you have that option to do that. And then option description, same thing, that'll just be presented to the user, so or to the person taking the information, so they can have additional information there. And then you have this checkbox that's the default. So of all the options that are selected, you can choose one of them to be a default, and so that would be the default one that's selected. So we could say that male is the default that's selected if we wanted to ensure that, but in this case we won't. We do female, and we do one that's, I don't think this is a valid option on a passport, but we'll do other. And so that is, so that's that. So you can kind of just see how our form is shaping up here. So we have, what is your first name? Tell me about yourself. What is your gender? And then I have 3 options for gender. You can choose to order these in a specific order as well. The options, if you want them to. So the database may return them in random order. Generally, it's by the order that they were created in. But if you need to reorder those, you can do that. Again, future release, this will be more drag and drop friendly. But for now, this is how we're going. So okay, so we'll go ahead and create this form. So we now have our passport information form here. So now we need to do something with that form. So we'll come over here to one of our clients. This is one of our test clients. We have some forms here. So this is a case form, and this is a client form. In this case, the passport information, I don't think it can be relevant to many cases. So I'm going to add this to the actual client itself. And so it's going to show me only forms that have not already been attached to the client here. So I can just click attach. And here's my passport information. So now I have a start button here. It means that I have not completed this. No one started it or saved it yet. So I can click on start, and here we go. So here's my form. What is your gender? Okay, it's a male. Tell me about yourself. Here's that default text that we had. What is your first name? Seneca. So I'm going to submit those answers. And so now it'll show you that I'm completed on 6/26 at 9:58 a.m. And I can view those answers. I can go back and also change that. Let's see. I'll change this to James. And so now those are my new answers there. Saved on that. So now if we want to use this form, so one, obviously we can use it here just for reference purposes. Anybody can pull this form up and see what the answers are that they've previously added here. But we can also use it on our PDFs. So we'll go into our file manager, manage files, and I'm going to get my G28 form. And here's, I hope that's the wrong one. Let's see. Sorry, filled it out. Here we go. So my G28, and I'm going to do, let's see, just for demonstration, I'm going to do my city, city or town as my first name, just for demo. So from where am I getting the information? I want to get it from a form, which form, my passport information, and which field is going to be my first name. And so I'll go ahead and save that. So now that's filled out. So now if I come back over here to my test, I think, or to my case, so this is a G28 field. Sorry, that was a token error. Okay, so now you can see that the PDF pulled in my first name from that form. So that's how the PDF forms work, kind of from start to finish, how they can be utilized in PDFs. And there we go. So,